Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. Today we're talking about Contractors, a game that, we're probably a little overdue to talk about, but I'm glad that we've
For
waited
good
this
reason,
long.
though.
Yeah, this is a game that's grown a lot. It's a much different game than when we first experienced it probably about a year ago.
Yeah, I had said even a while ago, I'm happy we never, because we've always debated it because we've both owned it. So it was like, why have we not really talked about this? But I'm glad we didn't, because if we did, where the game was and where it's at today, to me, is like the difference between light and dark.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's one of the most popular shooters on the Oculus Quest store, on the official Quest. So it's kind of like a missing hole in our library this whole time we've had the podcast. But it's one of those games, the longer we waited, the better it got. Even this last month, there were more updates on it.
Absolutely.
But they've had some significant updates since we first got it. But before we get too sidetracked, like I said, talking about Contractors, it's a very popular first-person shooter on the official MetaQuest store.
Military first-person shooter.
Yeah, probably the game on the Quest store that's closest to a Call of Duty type game.
Yeah, it's a fair comparison.
I won't say 100% like it's the exact cut and dry comparison. I don't want anybody to listen to this and say, "Oh my God, it's not Call of Duty."
If it was 100%, it would be Call of Duty.
Yeah, but if you were to compare it to any major, well-known, first-person shooter franchise, it would probably be Call of Duty.
That's the safest comparison.
Mm-hmm. It's made by, I love the studio name, Caveman Game Studio. So I don't know, that made me laugh. I love it.
Yep.
It's $19.99 on the official MetaQuest store. It's currently rocking 3,320 ratings and 1,752 written reviews with a 4.3 overall. You commented it. It actually has a pretty high percentage of 1-star reviews.
8%.
Which
we don't pay much mind to, because the percentage of 1%, it's like 1%. Yeah, that sucks.
Well, we pay mind to it, but we don't bring it up specifically on the podcast.
Because they're usually just ridiculous shit. But some of the ones that were on this one seem pretty valid to an extent, with some game loading issues, like it's not installing, or it updated but it's not finishing update, and we don't really know who's at what side of the fence is to blame on that.
Is that a Caveman Game Studios issue, or is that a MetaQuest issue?
Yeah, or just something going on. But it didn't. I had no problem. Knock on wood, since I've owned it and there's been many updates, I haven't had any issues with it loading or receiving an update. Or
no, me neither. So I feel bad for anybody who that's happened to. But I would feel really bad if it is an Oculus issue and they've scored all these 1 stars because of it.
Yeah, it does suck, because it's like these reviews are coming from people who can't even actually review the game per se. They're just reviewing their current state of experience, which for some seem pretty lengthy. But again, I don't really know where the breakdown is in that happening. But it's just weird to see an 8% one, and then the rest are mainly all screaming positive.
Yeah, for the rest of the 1 stars, besides the download and install issues, I went through and most of them I didn't really agree with. It was like, so there were some people who gave really detailed things that sounded like, it just wasn't a game for them. But in the end of the review, it just based off the amount of time they put in, it didn't sound like a 1 star. So I definitely always like to go through those, see what other people's complaints are. But it seemed like the biggest 1-star complaint was just download issues, not really actual gameplay stuff.
There was nothing very specific to the actual game, model itself. So that just kind of sucks, though, because I hate to see someone take some point. I mean, 4.3.
Yeah,
it's still pretty damn good.
Yeah, but that 8% 1 star is definitely weighing down what probably should be a 4.6, 4.7, especially in what is the quality of the game in today's day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we mentioned it's updated a bunch. It's changed a bunch. This came out December 3rd, 2020. We got this, a couple months into owning the Quest, and I won't lie, my first experience with it, when we first loaded up, because I say this all the time for anybody who's heard the podcast, when we first got our Quest 2s, we were just obsessed in finding multiplayer co-op games. Not really so much online, PvP, but more PvE, player versus everyone, co-op missions, things like that. And Contractors had that. So we went to go do it, and I think we played maybe 10 minutes, and we went, nope. And, we tried to touch it some more other times, and it was slowly improving. But it wasn't until a couple months ago that really We gave it another shot. We're like, all right, there's been a lot of improvements. Let's give it another go. And then there's been some graphical changes. There's been some gameplay changes, some gameplay improvements, and it felt like a whole new game.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, because I mentally was not impressed the first time we played it. I mean, graphically, I liked it. I won't lie about that. But the actual gameplay, I was like, ooh, this just isn't going to really work.
No, and it sucks because it was something that sounded in theory good. There's, something that holds true to this day, and it's a stronger part of the game, and it was something that appealed to me the first time, was there's customizable loadouts. So there's a plethora of different guns.
Over 30.
Right now, over 30, yeah.
Yep.
And, there's also some different types of loadouts. Like, so you have your regular loadout, newly added, not new, like, yesterday or anything, but pretty recently in the grand scheme of things, they have a ninja loadout. So there's a ninja mode that has, like, a sword and a bow and arrow. And then you have a World War II loadout as well. That's pretty cool. But nonetheless, so you have customizable loadouts with different guns and stuff. So that stuff always appeals to me. Also worth noting that you can save, multiple different loadouts. So you can try different variations that you could easily switch between. But then there's realistic reloading. So a lot of shooters in VR will use a button to reload. Hey, one of my favorite shooters that we play, Population 1. The reloading in that game is very simple. You pretty much just slide it up, and it's good to go. Contractors, they don't really have any like highlighting area for you to reload. It's very realistic reloading. So that appeals.
No, they do a shadow button for where to
put the stock
and where to cock.
Yeah, that's true actually, but it's not as like glowing.
No. Pop one, they use the big glowing yellow. I mean, it's like a big gold bar, and like you said, I mean, and even to discharge the weapon in Contractors is much more realistic. Yeah, because not every gun is button push.
There's some that are, but not every, like you said.
No, you got to physically grab the cartridge and pull it out. Mm-hmm. Take a new one off your belt, put it in.
And even though there is some guide with it, there's been many times I try a new gun and I'm like, I don't know how to fucking reload this thing.
Correct. Each one is its own
unique thing. So that appealed to me greatly. So I really wanted to like this game, but I couldn't get over the hump initially. But on today's day now, they have co-op missions, which they had before, but they have co-op missions. They have a co-op survival mode, which you can do the missions and co-op single player as well. They have a very, very active multiplayer community. So besides the co-op ones, you have your typical, team deathmatch. You have free-for-all. You have some other cool game modes like...
they have the escort one, the bomb one.
Yep, the comp control. Yep. So there's a lot of different multiplayer modes. They have it set up that there's like casual, competitive, one called Ground War, which basically is just like the size of the amount of players you want to play against. So they give a lot of options there. North American, EU servers. There's even custom maps. Like, dude, this game is loaded to the gills at this point in 2022.
Oh yeah, and they seem to be now on that brink of, they're really encouraging people to start making maps, start submitting maps.
Which some of them are really good too.
Yeah. Oh no, we talked.
Yeah, we have some ideas too.
We've got at least a couple of ideas.
And they make it really easy to install the custom maps because they're called mods in the game, and that's huge because there's been a lot of games that in order to do mods, you have to go install something, side load, plug your headset into the.
I won't do it.
And that's where a lot of people get lost. Like, I might do it. I do it with Blade and Sorcery, but you're just like you're for a lot of people like you.
Nope, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, so in Contractors, you click a button, you hit subscribe. Is it subscribe or favor? I forget. I think you hit subscribe for the map, and then
it downloads.
Then it's installed. So any game that has mods built in that easily, 2 thumbs up. As well, if you're interested in making custom maps, it seems like they make that pretty easy as well on the PC end of things.
Yeah, from what I've gathered so far in my minor research of the, how can we make a map? It doesn't seem that hard. I mean, I've done Counter-Strike maps back in the day. Counter-Strike 1.6. I've made a handful of those. And it seems a lot easier to do this
than back then for that one.
Absolutely. But for what we're trying to do, it should be even easier. And I'm convinced it's going to be an awesome map.
Yeah, well, it's funny because you were very big into Counter-Strike
Yeah.
when I was growing up. I remember that phase in your life. So almost every VR shooter we play, you bring some sort of Counter-Strike reference in terms of things that you used to do in strategy,
Yeah.
or hoping that, honestly, I hear a lot of hope in your voice, like hoping that this is going to be the VR Counter-Strike. And I will not say Counter-Strike is that at all, but I could see that spark or hear that spark in your voice with the potential of custom maps to bring that element there.
Yeah,
Like
there's
you lit up. I could see it.
yeah, man. I mean, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face that CS 1.6, you could port that over tomorrow to VR. It's not that, the graphics aren't great but they could easily do it, and that'd be a fucking game changer tomorrow for me.
Hell yeah.
I just don't see that ever happening. But yeah, there's some elements that even in some of the modded maps, they have at least 2 different Counter-Strike maps that I know of. I think they got Dust 2 and they might have Dust. So that was kind of refreshing. Although graphically, there's more going on in that than there is in the original maps.
one, yeah.
Yeah, they don't need all that.
No, and custom maps are pretty new, so it's like already the community, again, not new as in last week, but new relative to the game coming out in 2020. It's only a matter of time till the community goes real crazy with it. They learn these tools because already things are good. So wait till 6, 7, 8 months from now. Like you can scroll through all the mod list right now. I think it's like 8, 9 pages. It's gonna be way too much in like 6 months.
Oh yeah, I mean, how could you, make a map that you can play in VR? I mean, for all the maps I've ever made for CS, it was never, it is what it is. Just PC gaming.
And it's not like so you download a modded map and now you can only play it, in a private lobby or something like that. You can open it up to like we've gone into many a room looking for a team deathmatch or a comp control or something like that, and we're playing on a custom map, a modded map. And when you create a room, you get the option to select. Do you want to make it so you as the host can only pick, regular maps, or do you want to include modded maps into your selection list as well? So it's like they give a lot of customization options. You can even in rooms make it so it's pistol and knife only. You can make it so it's the World War II loadout for a match, a ninja one, so you could do ninja team deathmatch. You could do, World War II team deathmatch, whatever.
Yeah, they didn't even need to do the ninja bit and the World War II bit, to be honest.
But
and to bring up this, yes, the certain elements to it, they've looped into their game, like the bomb one with defusing the bomb or planting the bomb, escorts.
Yeah, for official.
That was an occasional mode, but they're on that brink of being able to put their shit together that they could have legit bona fide leagues and tournaments. I mean,
especially if they continue to improve at this rate. Like I said, the game that we played, when we first opened it up, and the game that we play now is not the same game.
Dude, the hitboxes on the NPCs when we first got it were just terrible. It was so terrible.
I remember my impression of it was that they were going for a very realistic feel with the shooting and the reloading, but it didn't feel realistic. Now, it feels, obviously not real life, but it feels freaking good. It's satisfying.
And it's funny because I remember back when we first got it too, the big hype and claim of the game wasn't anything but the realism aspect of, it's like Population 1, but you don't fly, and it's realistic guns and the loading. And
I didn't feel it.
No,
but now
I mean,
do.
the guns I did, I was like, okay, I get it. That's cool. But the actual physical gameplay way back then, compared to today, nah. Mm-hmm. It's like this, I mean, ask me way back then, would you buy it? I'm like, no, I'd probably wait a little while, see what they do with it. I was actually thinking they were going to abandon it, to be honest with you.
Because of how bad it was in our impression?
In my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's all it was. I mean, there were people back then who were like, no, this is the greatest game ever.
And props to the people who stuck with it, because of them, the game was able to reach this point,
Yeah, it's funny, but it's also because of them, that I think some of the beef other people have in some of the online play
won't go away.
It's just, one shot, one kill. They're going to get you every time. They're going to spawn kill you. They're going to, there's some
good people. Well,
some serious, and that's, if I had a beef with the whole, team element to it. I mean, survival mode's my favorite, hands down. I'll play it every day if you want. It's got all the cool aspects, which we can talk about in a minute. But all the other game modes, it's like the maps are so small that, like, you know, you just we played with an international server, I guess, and it was literally just an onslaught of destruction on their part, spawn kills, everything. It was like the maps are small, like literally house to house neighbor fight type small.
Well, it's very easy to kill and get killed in this game. It's very Counter-Strike-esque in that sense that it only takes a couple kills or one well-placed kill with the right gun. Yeah, dead. Or a couple well-placed. It's not like you can just eat bullets forever. So it's pretty easy to die, which would be one thing if the maps were bigger. But I do agree with the complaint that the maps are small because, like, even in the players that were cleaning house who, like, you know, maybe I got 10 kills but 20 deaths, I would see them get 40 kills, 50 kills, but they still had 20 to 30 deaths as well. It's like even the good players die a lot because it's so compact. It's hard to...
Well, you can't stay in position for a lot of them use the sniper tactic, so they'll be in like a window. Well, I mean,
I tend to always like bigger maps as well for multiplayer, so I can completely understand that complaint. But man, no doubt at this day and age, you're saying, you know, back in the day you would have told somebody to wait on it, or maybe wait for it's on sale or anything like that. These days, $20, you're getting your money's worth.
They got you hooked up because I'm kind of looking at it now as, you know, what's going to keep me coming back to this game, or what will have me keep coming back. And right now it's survival mode. Okay.
Yeah, I'm hooked on it as well.
I'll play it every day. I don't mind. Squeeze one in. Sometimes it's quick. Sometimes it could be almost an hour.
Which, if anybody's never played survival in this, you're not like surviving against zombies or anything like that. It's like this progressive game mode. So you start and you only have a knife and a weak pistol, but you have these two like locations where you can, one where you buy weapons and upgrades to your weapons, like a different, you know, more ammo,
Scopes.
Grenades, some armor, things like that. And then there's another one where you can buy upgrades, you know, increase your damage, your speed, your reload, your ammo capacity, your amount of health, your recover time, anything.
A whole bunch of shit.
There's probably like, dude, honestly.
Well, and plus each one of
24 of them, and some of them you can upgrade multiple times.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 that you can do for the one. So I mean,
there's a lot of different upgrades. Is what we're saying.
That little game mode in itself is what keeps me coming back.
Yeah.
So, if that wasn't for me, I might be, because you don't need an internet connection for this game either, because maybe you just want to do single player shit. There could be enough content for somebody who really likes that as the game to keep them coming back. Versus the people who like don't like survival mode, but they loving like the handful of other modes, like the escort one or the bomb one. That's gonna keep them coming back. So they've done it really well now. That, you know, so you don't like 3 out of the 5 things. Well, there's 2 things in the game you're probably gonna really like. That's gonna sucker you to keep coming back.
Yeah, you're not big on team deathmatch, but they got you hooked on survival mode. And here's the thing with survival mode, too. So it's wave-based, so you get money in it. That's how you get the upgrades for your weapons. And then at the end of every wave, because it's wave-based, that's when you get your upgrade points for your, like, perks and stuff like that, your skill perks. So it goes forever, and you start with just a knife and a pistol. The only way you're going to get a good gun is to last long enough. But you have this goal in your head where you want to get every single gun, because it's like a skill tree. So, example, it'll be pistols on all the way to the left, and then, you know, there's like a low tier gun, a mid tier gun, maybe one more gun, then the final gun of it. So right now I can usually get, you know, last long enough to get all the way to one end of a gun and start, you know, unlocking some other guns, and then we lose, because like it gets freaking hard around like wave 20, 21, 22.
Yeah, the progression tree for unlocking weapons in that mode is freaking awesome.
Oh, it to me that's it's like I
what like. I want to keep playing it until I have every single weapon unlock, and I've got every single attribute jacked out. And then I might not play it as much.
And it's not like this progressive stuff carries over into other games. So you let's say you boom, you unlock all these, you know, you got the M16, woo, finally, woo, you got a bunch of perks, you had 175% health because, you know, you boosted your health, you feel good, you lose, You start again. It's a new game of survival. You're at wave
Back
1.
to a knife and
a weak pistol.
Yeah.
A weak pistol. You know, your first upgrade is going from a weak pistol to a better pistol. It's not even like you go right into the assault rifles and stuff like that.
And they do good with trying to bait you, because like the first time I bought a pistol, I saw that they had the Deagle, and I'm like, that's the one right there, baby, and bought it. But then, because the progression tree that it's on is probably the last one you really want to be on, so I don't recommend buying that one first, you know.
It's like if you're a shotgun person, you know, you might have to buy a gun that you don't want in order to get the shotgun. Yeah. Same with snipers or assault. Like, I like the M16, so it's like some of the guns I buy on the way to M16, I'll buy them and then go back to the previous gun because I'm just not a fan of them. But you got to buy it in order to get to the M16.
Yeah, and I bought guns that are ahead of where I need to go, and then reverted back and used one of my older ones just because I like the little Uzi or something, because I like the way that it kills better.
So there's no carryover progression from game to game, but it's enough progression in that moment to keep me wanting to play another round. Because it's like, shit, I didn't get all the upgrades I want. Time to do another one.
Yeah, and survival, you know, you start with nothing and build everything, and then most of the other game modes let you pick a loadout, but you're maximized, I think, to like 32 points, and everything you pick has a point. So, you know, an M16 might be 11 points. Couple that with an armor, that's 4 points. Couple that with a grenade, that's 3 points each. So you are kind of, you can't get the best of everything in every loadout.
Yeah, and that's for every game mode besides co-op.
Correct.
But in co-op, the survival, like you said, you know, your total, by the time you make it, you know, to a high wave, if you had the equivalency in skill points, it would be like 60 skill points. Because your guys got heavy armor, you got this diesel gun, you got a nice pistol, you know.
And the NPCs get
you got
more.
Your grenades.
They throw more at you, and
they get harder.
Holy shit.
The AI is good.
They'll roll, they'll dodge out of the way.
Huge props to the AI, because it's...
No, the AI, how's this? The AI was so bad the first time I played it, you know, back when we got it. I was able to clear through sections by just running. Yeah. I'm like, they're not going to touch you.
Yeah.
Just literally run through them, and then I don't have to deal with them.
Now they're very responsive. And, like, so co-op, there's no difficulty mode. It's like wave 1's really easy, and it gets, you know, slowly harder. So it's like wave 1, the first 3 waves of the survival, we run around and just slash everybody with our knives.
Knife rounds.
And then we
3
go
rounds
to
of knife rounds, and then go
guns
to
from there, because it's so easy.
And shit.
Maybe if you fuck up and you get cornered by 4 guys in round 3, it's possible to die, because that's when they start getting machine guns. And that's another thing. As the survival mode progresses, so do the enemy varieties. So they're real simple at first. They're weak. You know, they all got the same guns. And then they start throwing out machine gun guys, and then they throw out heavy armor guys. Then they throw out dogs, and then they put bombs on the dogs.
Yeah.
Then they put suicide bombers. And like it keeps getting
it's an endless
more
onslaught of, and you have to be conservative with your ammo, because
it's not infinite ammo.
No, you can buy attributes that'll give, if you get a headshot, you get like a 60% chance of.
That is the first perk I go to get, because like I want that by like wave 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's critical to have that towards the later waves, especially after like wave 10 and shit, because now you're going to go through a lot of ammo quick, because there's a lot of enemies. So you're going to be needing to shoot them as well as go run and pick up these ammo drops, which can be challenging if it's a dog with a bomb and some C4 that just blew up. And
yep, it's not, so you kill the dog with the bomb on it. It's not like the bomb blows up right away. It's got like a 5-second delay. I won't lie, so you can hold 8 rounds of your assault rifle, or your main gun, I'll say. You can hold 8 rounds of it at a time. The biggest times I've died, and it bothers me, it'll haunt me, is getting greedy. I'll have like 6 ammo I don't really need.
I see one more.
Yeah, and I'll be like, boom, and I'll run out there, and then I get lit up, because survival mode lets you have up to 4 people into it. So we leave our server open, starts with us 2, and then 2 other people will join, because it's a pretty active, vibrant community. But it's all about strategy. If you want to survive in the later rounds, you got to stick together. Everybody's got to grab a position to do it really good. So when you run out there to go grab some ammo that dropped, you're leaving position. Like, that's critical. And
Oh yeah, greed will get you killed in this game quick.
Oh,
But I agree. I've died more from
trying to get ammo.
being greedy, or you can also revive down players by standing near them, like really close to them. And sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just gotta let somebody fucking die.
Yeah.
Until the round ends, and then they can respawn, because you'll have this urge to like, oh, I can save that guy.
And then you end up dying.
And you end up dying. Now you got 2 dead bodies instead of 1. And
so most of the times I die, it's either being greedy or being too helpful, trying to help, being too nice of a guy, you know? And here's the thing. So yeah, you die, you can get respawn, but only for like 30 seconds. You'll see the little like revive bar go down of like availability to revive, and then they gotta wait.
And you can get an attribute to cut the revive time down as well. So there's an attribute. There's an attribute for everything.
And the thing is, it's skill tree with it too, though. So like, you might have to buy some perks that you don't want to get a perk you do want, because it's higher up in the.
But in the big picture, you're gonna want every one of them.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
what we want to do.
You have to have every one of them.
That's what we really want to do.
So yeah, so that's just so that's my excitement, and I know you share the same excitement with survival mode. But
there's some
the other modes aren't necessarily my cup of tea.
There's a couple of them I like. There's one that, of all of the other multiplayer modes, there's one that I really like, where you know that's where they put a spot to go control, and you have to go there and control it and fill up the data pad. And that one's probably been my most
their
fun.
Version of capture the flag.
I guess so. That's been the most fun for me in there. But I feel like I would like the team deathmatch a lot more if it was bigger matches, or not bigger matches, bigger maps.
Yeah, to me and I thought of this the other day, was the survival mode is like 4 team deathmatch maps put together.
Oh, it's huge,
because the attribute and ability to buy weapons locations changes 3 or 4 times.
It changes every 3 rounds
to a different spot. Yeah. So to do that, they move it essentially to another
whole new map area.
Yep. And the death matches, that it's just like one of those. So it's not very big.
And sadly,
yeah.
And I understand why, survival is, you can't do custom maps with it.
Yeah, because you can't have
so big,
a rotating location like that. On that's a different level of putting walls and shit.
It was probably like a week into playing the survival where you're like, you're all excited. You're like, dude, can we do custom maps with? I was like, dude, I don't know, but no, you can't. Sadly,
all the other game modes pretty much.
But yeah, except the co-op stuff.
Yep, which is in the big picture it's fair. But again, I think for the price, and they've now given something for everybody. Just don't expect everything for you in this game. I'm sure they're, again, just I would say you have to try every mode, and you're going to find out what you like the best. Dude, I'll tell you, your main home screen, you have like this.
We didn't even touch
on this. It's like this area that's yours, specific to you. It's like an old office building. You got little target ranges. You've got buttons you can press that'll make enemies come at you just for farting around. But you can test each gun, every single gun. You can put every single sight on it that you want. And we've discovered that they've also give you the ability on certain scoped weapons to change the color of the scope, like the actual sight, because it defaults to red, but for some reason red isn't always the best color to use for,
especially desert environments and stuff like that.
Yeah, sometimes you got to move your gun around to like find that red dot on. But you can change it to any color you want. They give you different options. Yeah, like the crosshair, the laser dot, so just in that alone is pretty impressive. And then you can shoot your gun around your little home thing, throw grenades around.
They give you target practice buttons, so there's a button you can press, and then targets come up. There's a button you can press, and zombie wave comes.
Yeah, silhouette targets, and then you can do the zombie target practice if you want.
So there's been many a times, because, like we said, you can change your scope, you can change your suppressor. So I'll be
change your grip.
Yeah, I'll be like, I don't know what that scope is, and I don't want to go live with this shit right away and not know what's going on with it. Because some scopes will be like an aim point, little red dot. Some scopes are like a sniper scope. And I don't personally always like to use a sniper scope, especially in close range games.
Don't like that at all.
So it's very nice to be able to change my loadout and then, be able to dick around with it in the home screen. And, with the loadouts too, for all the other game modes besides co-op, you can buy the armor and stuff in co-op, but it's different. And just in the sense that it doesn't limit your spots. But nonetheless, so in the customizable loadouts, you get to select an armor. They have standard, light, and heavy armor. And basically, obviously it does more protection, but there's more slots available in the lighter armor in like utilities. So you can get like grenades and shit with the medium and the light one. I think there's one spot available for a grenade in the medium one and 2 spots in the light one, but you get no grenades or anything in the heavy armor. So it's like, yeah, you can opt to get more protection for less gadgets, I guess you could say.
And what's cool is you'll notice the really good players, they use a lot of smoke grenades.
Mm-hmm.
So if they come over to revive you,
especially for survival, yes,
the first thing they'll do is throw a smoke grenade down, and then just, the enemy seemingly can't hit you through the smoke, but they give you the traditional grenades as well. And what's wicked cool is if you just take the thing off your vest and throw it, well, you just threw a perfectly good grenade that's never going to explode. So you have to physically take the pins out of these to activate them and then throw them, which is, again, adding to that the same basis of like they're reloading the weapon. It's not going to just be click and point and pull your trigger and it happens. No, you got to physically hold with one hand, pull the pin with the other. I kind of sidearm grenades and shit because I can throw them farther, and I don't trust myself with the ceiling fan because you can really get into the, trying to lob something through a window or some shit. I would say, pay attention to your guardian.
But no. So I want to keep going on, but before we get a little carried away, I want to take this moment and give a little, message to our sponsors who help us, keep this ship sailing. So. Hey, Stratus, how you feeling today?
I am feeling ball-tastic, thank you.
Ball-tastic. So before we started recording today, you were telling me you coined a new term?
I have. I'm going to refer to the downstairs nether regions as my nut hut. That's my nut hut area. So you want to keep your nut hut feeling and smelling good? Manscaped has you covered.
So, how's your nut hut doing?
Fantastic.
No bushes, no trees.
I am
no grass.
I am just free nut hutting it. I am loving life.
It's lawn mowed nice.
Lawn mowed nice. Feels nice.
With your lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped.
Got my little refresh spray if I need it.
So yeah, we're definitely having fun talking about Manscaped.com, the leader in men's, self-grooming, I guess, accessories, right?
Absolutely.
If you enjoy Manscaped's products, check them out and be sure to use code word Ruff Talk VR for 20% off. And check this. Free shipping.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Their prices are good to begin with, let alone 20% off and some free shipping.
Yeah, so, be sure to visit there, shop around a bit, and use that promo code, RuffTalkVR, all one word.
Keep that nut hut living good.
Clean, shaven, and smelling nice.
Absolutely.
All right, something that you had talked on before that I really enjoyed, I'm really glad you touched on it, is that there is a game mode for everybody. It's like, if there was only team deathmatch, only comp control, and all that, we might be sitting here and go, oh, great shooter, but, didn't really still capture something. But they have the co-op for us. For other people, they're never going to touch the co-op. And if that was the whole game, they'd be pissed. But they have all these other multiplayer modes.
Yeah, there's something for everybody.
Definitely.
For sure. At this point in the game,
it's so in-depth.
And again, I'm just amazed that they've kept going. And what's more amazing is for as good as all the reviews we've seen on it is and the excitement people have with this is the best one ever. Man, the ratings ain't backing it up. And I'll tell you, for time release to have 3320 is pretty low.
Yeah,
so
in
there's
comparison
a whole,
to like population one with 10,000.
And I actually think part of the reason is just how they self-marketed the game, because it just, I don't know. I liked it because we wanted to play together and we wanted shit. And you were like, hey, I look at this one. What do you think? We went, okay, cool. Let's get it. But our circumstance was different than I think most people. And for some reason, I just don't think they do a good job representing the game. I mean, it's a lot more fun, especially now, than it's ever been.
I think that they should start selling it as that there's something for everybody in this one.
Yeah, because, I mean, dude, I was hoping that the ratings by now would have gone up to at least 10K.
Well, I'm a little sad to see more so than the, 3,003. $3,300. It's not the most on the store by any means.
No.
Could be
Well,
worse.
no. For time on the store.
I understand that 100%. But what really hurts me to see is more the 4.3. I kind of feel like that this is a 4.6, 4.7 worthy, Whereas,
yeah, I'd put it at about a 4.5.
4.3. It looks like it. It's starting to push a little bit more.
It took
for a game that's constantly improving.
Look, it took it almost a 10% hit, just because of 1 stars over, essentially download issues.
Yeah.
That, what's
might
weird
not
is
be their fault.
Well,
maybe it is, but I don't know enough.
Listen, they commented that they're aware of it and they're working on it and trying, how many people does it affect? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It obviously affected 8% of them, or
right.
we'll exclude 1% off the 8% because 1% had other complaints, but somebody who really had a problem saying they got motion sickness in this one.
Yeah, I would think you'd probably get motion sickness in any shooter because this wasn't exactly happy to me. And
you
they give you a lot of...
You don't fly, you don't climb, you can't hop on rocks, so you can't hop on like boxes, you can't.
Which props to them for being a game for everyone. They have plenty of settings in the game in terms of comfort settings.
Absolutely. So I was just a little thrown that somebody threw some hate.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be my critique of them.
Yep. It's like, I think one of the things too is you should be able to see what, how like other sites, when someone leaves a review, you can see like, let me see everything they've ever reviewed.
Yeah, 100%.
And go, wow, this person has reviewed 100 things and is shit on 100 things.
Yeah, it's worthless.
That's what they do.
Yep.
They want to see somebody go, meh.
They're never happy with games.
Correct. Whereas, if somebody writes a review and it's bad and I can see that, well, this person's written like 50 reviews.
And they're all good.
And, they're mostly all good. There's a fair balance. I'm going to pay heed to it. It's just, it's kind of bullshitty when people do that because it really knocks them down. So just, on that, it's more of a 4.5. But I would, dude, 2 years, 3320. That means there's a lot of people who have not played this.
Yeah. And
a lot.
If it released now, in its current state, it would probably blow the fuck up.
Isn't
weird.
That funny? Yeah, it's an oldie, and I think again, just visual marketing, I guess, would change that a little.
Yeah, I don't think enough people know how much it's improved, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down. The developers seem like they got much more updates they want to do. They're doing some like contest for custom maps. Yeah. So they're trying to incentivize that. I don't know. I can't wait for the future.
Again, for a project that they could have killed. I was shocked to see how active they really want to keep pushing it.
They even improved the graphics.
Yeah. No, dude. Listen, I was a guy who was not a fan of it at the get-go.
No.
And then I kind of watched it transform itself into something that was much better than it originally was.
Now I think survival is going to be on our rotation of games that we play. It's...
Not for nothing. If you're a review purchaser, like you don't buy games unless the reviews are good, you're going to see an 8% one,
and you're going
to be like, yeah, those aren't odds I want to
gamble.
It's not in my favor. And again, I'll put that in the bullshitty, not fair category. But if you actually read the reviews, you would be like, oh,
yeah. If I can install the game, I'm good.
If you can read a 1-star and exclude it yourself, and be like, well, that won't be my complaint. But when I saw the download issues, as a consumer, I'd be like, mean to tell me there's a possibility that I might never get the game I paid for and can't refund it because, well, you're stuck with it?
No, you could refund a game that you never played. Oculus has a very generous refund policy. If you've done under shit,
I've not ever refunded.
No, in my opinion, the only reason to refund a game...
Wish I had, but...
You got 14 days. Don't quote me on this. If off the top of my head, I think it's 14 days to refund.
I thought they changed it.
No, you got 14 days to refund or 2 hours of gameplay, whichever comes first. So it's like if you've never installed it, if you can't install it, that's totally in your refund eligibility. Oculus is very good with that.
I'd love to see more people... I'd love to see the maps get bigger.
Yeah.
Like utilize
I want to see more co-op or more survival maps because right now I think
have a dinner date with the Pop One folks and go, hey, how do you get such a big ass map in there? How do you do that? Because obviously it can be done.
Right.
I just think it's a sacrifice to some of the real life graphic.
Yeah.
Or the ultra realism is where you start losing
the physics of it.
Yeah.
Something that I really wish that they had because you go to get a match. they give you all of the options in the world to find a match in terms of you can find this game's already going. You can create a new server. You can search by region, by match type, whatever. I kind of wish that they just had a random find a match button.
It's funny you say that because they have pound for pound probably the busiest home screen
There's so much. The
that
first time
you'll ever sit in front of, and it's like if you fire it up, you're gonna look at that and be like,
where do I start?
This is not for me. I don't even know where. The only thing I recognize is a button that says home, and loadout sounds cool. I'll hit that.
What
and
are all
even
these
that's
games?
gonna be why are there numbers for every weapon? I don't understand what's going on. Do I make money in this game? Do I have to buy stuff? It's like, I don't know. It's a very, very, very.
That's probably my biggest
first
complaint,
time consumer look at, like, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
And if they somehow could.
I wish that we could join a party together and just hit find a game and we'll go in together. Instead, we like go through the server list.
3, 2, 1.
Click together.
Quick join.
It's like,
are we going to be on the same team?
That one has room for 2 people. And like, I wish that there was just a find a game button. You could, party up with people and just find a game. I mean, granted, yes, you can create your own server and people will join eventually, but it's like it.
No, it's not that. No. They're onto something good, and if they just keep pushing with it, then
it's only going to get better.
Yeah, it should only get better.
Yep, they got something for everyone. I love that you said that because that's perfect way to describe it.
It's the only reason I like the game, dude.
Yeah, because you cannot.
Because I don't like it all.
Yeah,
by any stretch.
But the shit you like,
what I like, I love.
Yep, and everybody's is going to be different.
Yeah,
there's game modes we'll never touch that are some people's number one play. Just
there's people I know for a fact they hate survival mode. Can't stand it. Dumbest thing ever. And I'm like, well, good for you, because the ones you like, guess what? I don't freaking like them. So we'll never have to worry about playing with each other.
Everybody's happy, and what's cool is that clearly there's a lot of people who like co-op because we'll start a room, we'll leave it. You can password your room.
Seconds, dude.
Yeah, you can password your room so nobody can join. You can limit it so, there can only be 2 people so nobody will join. But because co-op is, in my opinion, I want to make it far. I want a full lobby of 4 people. We always leave it open, no password. Like you said, seconds. We got a third, and by wave 2,
like if the match starts and we don't see a third, I'm usually like, did you password it? Is it open?
Yeah, no. So it's got a great community. There's so many games going on at once when you go in the server list. It's like, holy shit.
I would say survival mode seems to have a better community than
the other ones.
Other ones, because I've seen some really toxic shit come out of people's mouths
in the other modes.
And I'm like, that's the shit that'll get you banned in like most of the online games I've ever played.
Yep, but in
survival,
verbally. I don't think I've seen one toxic player. But that just might be the type of players who go for like, I'm gonna go play solo and team deathmatch or free for all versus the type of person who's like, I'm looking for a cooperative game.
No, the worst we've gotten with survival is
a boss
because
guy.
we use party chat. We're not using our in-game mics, and the way this game works is it's like proximity controlled, so the closer you are to somebody, the easier it is to hear them, and then if they're at a distance, you can grab your little walkie-talkie mic and actually talk to your team. But
we just do party chat.
We
it's
just do party chat,
too.
And the guy was just a little annoyed, and he's right, because we've bitched about it during Pop 1.
Yeah, we were the silent player. So
how are you gonna tell? The guy goes, "You're gonna tell me that you're playing on a headset and you don't have a microphone?" Like everyone knows, if you have an Oculus, you have a freaking mic. Yeah. So why aren't you talking? But it's because we're in party chat.
There was even one time, I don't know if it was that same time, but there was even one time we went to the app chat because we were doing party chat and somebody joined.
We felt like assholes,
and we were like, "All right, we'll go in." So, but unfortunately, the app chat is not nearly as clean sounding as the Oculus Party Chat.
Never is.
Hands down, the Oculus Party Chat is the cleanest sounding mics.
Pop 1.
Pop 1 is the only rival. I agree.
Yep. Pop 1 mic.
But
it's
what I'll say, owned by Facebook.
Well, they are now, but it was good too.
Back then, yeah.
Yeah, even before. It was the one thing that really stood out as far as the mic. That's why we always had to go to party chat, because we're always, man, most of these game mics just suck.
Yeah, and this game doesn't have the cleanest mic, I'll say.
No, it's not the worst, though.
No.
Not by any stretch.
And the concept of proximity chat with the walkie-talkie is a really cool freaking concept in theory. And we've tried it a couple times, and it's cool. But sometimes I'll forget to do the walkie-talkie and I'll be like, dude, he's not. Oh, shit, hold on.
Yeah, and that, I mean, especially in survival mode.
It's so imperative to be like, I need help.
In the other modes, nah, you're not. Well, in the capture, like the flag or that type of mode. But
it's not as imperative as I'd say co-op. Co-op, it's in our best interest to be in party chat. Being
yeah,
able to
it makes a
whenever.
difference. But I can't gig them for it because that's a little touch to the realism that they've added. Like
it goes with
the
game.
Hey, you're 10 feet from me. Of course you'll hear me. You're gonna run, 20 yards away. You're probably not gonna hear me.
Yeah, and now you have a walkie-talkie.
And they are going for more, there's no fantasy in this. There's no sci-fi in this. The weapons are legit weapons. They're real-life weapons.
Real physics.
As close as I think they can get.
There's some custom maps that are Halo that have some, like...
Still question some of the hitboxes, but whatever.
They're better. They're much better.
They're better, yeah. They still got a little ways to go. Mm-hmm. Just a little.
Speaking of which, you want to just get into our final thoughts?
Sure.
Our categories, all that fun stuff?
Kind of rolling that way anyways.
Right? It was kind of just naturally rolling in there. Might as well do it. So, anybody who's listening to the podcast, they know this, but our review rating is 4 to 100, broken into 4 categories of gameplay, aesthetics, functionality, and replayability, each worth anywhere from 1 to 25 points, with the total adding up to the final score. So I'll start in the category of gameplay. I'm going to give them a clean 25. Exactly what you said. I can't say it better. I'm so happy you said it. There's something for everybody in this game. It's got realistic shooting. It's got realistic reloading. It's a fun shooter, but they have those single player modes. They have those co-op modes, where you can work together with a friend. They have those competitive multiplayer modes. For a shooter, I can't ask for more. The only thing they don't have is a campaign, but this is one of the few games that I played and I'm like, it's not even on my mind. Like I'm usually the guy that's like, I wish there's a story mode. I wish there was a campaign. Meh. It scratches my itch. This game has enough. I'm going to give them 25 out of 25 on gameplay. Aesthetics. There was a part of me that was like, do I go 20 or do I go 25? Just to stay consistent and fair, I got to give them a 25 out of 25. It's got really good graphics for the Quest standards. I'm sure if we reviewed it back in the day when it first came out, before they improved the graphics, I would unquestionably be doing a 20 or maybe even bouncing 15 to 20. But yeah, I got to be consistent and honest, and I think the graphics are 25. Aesthetics, the environments are good, not just your character models. It's not like pixelated on the ground and the rocks and stuff like that. Like you mentioned, the co-op mode has really big maps. Unfortunately, the team deathmatch and stuff isn't the case, but it's not like it's pixelated to compensate for that. The sky's beautiful, the coloring's good. So aesthetics, 25 out of 25. Functionality is where I'm going to gig them. I was even thinking of going all the way down to 15 just because of how bad the user interface on the menu is. Like it's one of the worst user interfaces I've seen in a shooter, which is unfortunate because getting into the action should just be front and center in a shooter. That's something that Pop 1 does so good is boom, just start now. Boom, you're good. You should be able to just find a game, go. It's very confusing the first time you go in. And I can imagine that there's a percentage of people that have loaded up the game, saw the menu, and closed out and never played again. Just because it's so overwhelming. But and on top of that, I've dropped out of games. A good handful of times. Mainly co-op games. We'll be like halfway through. We'll be in like wave 15, and then I get booted from the game, and like that kind of sucks because then I can rejoin it, but my score's gone. I can rebuy my wet, but it's not the same. I don't know, and it takes a hassle. Maybe you die in the meantime. Like it sucks to get booted from a game. It hasn't happened to me too much in the competitive like team deathmatch, but the large majority of my gameplay time has also been the survival, so I'm sure it could have happened just as much in the other game modes. But in the end, I'm going to give them a 20 out of 25 just because the kicks haven't been like rampant. It just happened a handful of times. And the user interface, I don't think it's enough to knock them all the way down to a 15. I think that would be very critical, but I could see the argument there. So functionality, I'm going to give them a 20. And replayability, I'm going to give them a 25 out of 25. I think that what it comes down to me is how much am I going to go back and play this game? And this is going to be one of those games because of the co-op mode. That's what scratches my itch. It's going to be in one of my rotation of games that I think I play. As long as I'm using a Quest too. So because of that, I got to give them a 25. So 25, 25, 20, and 25. I'm giving them a 95 out of 100.
Wow.
In the end, I didn't like this game a year ago, and now it's one of my favorites. I freaking love this one.
Yeah, I definitely made it clear it's not the same game. So if you picked it up a year ago and you're like, this game sucks, I'd re-go it and see everything they got to offer. As for the new person and loading into the game for the first time, man, you have my sympathy. Just look at every single thing and click on it and go, okay, this is what this does, and you'll kind of figure that out. Even your home map and your home area is legit a map because there's a lot of different areas, different things to do, different, mini games, target practice, zombie shit, start different, whatever. It's, practice different weapons, throw flash grenades, throw grenades, it's immersive and it's big as far as a home screen, let alone just the home screen with the buttons. So just don't be scared to try everything, or you might get a little, I don't know. I just would hate to see someone's reaction. Like you said, they bought it, they're going to open that and be like, damn, I don't know what to do. But I hear everyone talking, this is the thing to do, and but whatever. So gameplay, let me put on my glasses so I don't fuck up. Gameplay, I gave him a 25. I judge them on where we're at today, not where we were yesterday for sure. They've really done a great job of giving you, like I said, there's something for everybody. I have found my something. I'm happy with it. I'm loving it. I'm not even bored with it in the remotest sense because I don't feel like I've achieved success with it, and I don't think success is going to come anytime soon. So I have to keep playing it. Yeah, definite 25. Aesthetics, I give them a 25. For what they're shooting for, no pun intended, or what they're aiming for, I think they hit it. I haven't seen any visual glitches that are out of, that don't make sense, or the detail on the guns is pretty damn good. Scenery wise, some of them, are pretty complex too, like some of the desert ones, or, it's like legit. You're in like a village type situation, up areas, down areas. So yeah, definitely a 25. I would say a year ago it probably wouldn't have been, but today it definitely is. Functionality, I give them a 20. I'm so blessed. I have not had the problems you have had. And not to be, because I'm sure someone's going to listen and be like, well, maybe you got kicked from the server, because they do give you in team play the ability to kick a human being from it. And that's definitely not what you're talking about. This is a some sort of something's going on that's kicking you off, not, like we all voted for it secretly. I certainly haven't, nor have I seen the vote come up, so I don't think that's it. But I would give them a 20. It's not perfect. Again, occasional issues with some hitboxes, maybe occasional areas you try to get to, and it just doesn't work that way. I actually fell into the groove of the crack of a rock the other day, and it put me outside the game boundaries, and you couldn't even revive me because you couldn't even get to me. It's like, how the hell did you do that? And I'm like, I don't know. I was just jumping around, and I went to jump over here, and I guess I jumped too far, and now I'm dead. But in that form of gameplay, you can either just wait it out, or you go back to like this main lobby, which has a basketball court, and you get to dribble some basketballs, chill with other players who are dead, and it's like their friendly gulag. You don't kill each other. You just wait for the damn round to end.
That's also the pregame for the competitive multiplayer ones, too.
Yeah, so even that's kind of like the first time you see it is a little weird. It's like, do I have to shoot a basket? How does this work? You run over to the big screen that's got like the game shit, and you're like, I don't see anything to click. You feel really out of place because you really don't know what the hell you're doing. And then, puff, the game starts. But they give you a little basketball court which is entertaining at best. It's just weird. But a 20 for functionality. It's not perfect. There are some little I wouldn't even call them bugs, but occasionally something just might not be working as well as you thought it should be. Replayability, I was kind of on the fence. I definitely give them a 20. I mean, they're getting a 90 overall rating for me. I just can't give them that 25 on replayability. I think in my particular case, with survival mode, I'm going to go back to it a lot. I can kind of see if you're not into the survival mode and you're definitely not into the whole team deathmatch thing, which, total turn off for me with the map size. With this game, you're pretty limited. I don't know how much you're going back to it overall, but I think even on the shit end, a 20 is not bad. So, my biggest hit, yeah, even myself, it's like if I ace survival mode someday and do get all the weapons unlocked and do get all the attributes, I'm like, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to go back to this as much as I currently am, and could totally understand if somebody doesn't even like survival mode. Totally. But you'll find your thing. How often you play it, I don't know. But overall, a 90. So a 90 and 95.
Yeah. And I was going back and forth between doing 20 or 25 because I could see very easily the gameplay wall on this. I just ended up going 25 because I was viewing it as myself and like, hey, shit, I'm going to put so much time into this.
Well, and
but I can easily see giving it a 20.
And I know you actually don't dislike some of the modes as much as I do.
No, but they're definitely not my favorite, and I think I'm glad
survival mode saved me with this game.
Yeah, I'm glad how easy it is to die in the multiplayer modes, if that makes sense, but I wish the maps were bigger so you could be more strategic.
It'd be fair to... Nobody should ever spawn, and you don't necessarily always spawn from the same exact spawn point either, so it's always been an issue in games like spawn killing, like, righteously you should never do it. It's
worse in the modded maps.
But we've all done it.
Maps.
We've all gotten to that point where we found the player's spawn point and you just camp there and just lay waste. It's like you're laughing while you do it, even though you hate when people do it. So, what can you do? Bigger maps.
Yeah, because I don't think the answer would be like, well, let's make it so people can take more bullets. I think that would take a lot away from this game. Yeah. I love that it takes a couple of real shots.
Dude, the realism.
Well-timed shots.
Take 2 to the chest, you fall down. Take 1 to the skull, you're,
But I wish it was I wish it was like a big battle zone, not this tight.
That's the only saving grace I see for this game for a lot of people is the map size needs to be bigger. They've done a great job with the actual, fighting element of it. They just need to give you a much bigger area to fight it out. Because again, some of the maps we played on, for example, you spawn in the backyard of one house. Literally across the street, 1-lane road, is another house that the enemy spawns from, and they put people in the window in one house, and you try to put your people in the window of the other, and you get a good sniper up there, and it's freaking game over, man. Nobody's coming across the street because you're just going to get picked. And then, again, somebody go into your spawn area. Dude, it just I don't know. It's just not that fun.
Yeah, but I think we keep saying the same thing. I think just bigger maps would fix it all.
Yeah, that's the solution. And that was the first thing I called it out on when we were playing it pretty hard. Is I'm like, damn, man, I really like it, but the maps are just too damn small. Even survival's kind of pushing it because it, like sometimes we'll go to do a map and we'll go, hey, how good did we do on this one the last time? We'll go, I think we went around the map like once or twice. Where your spawn... location,
what you can look at
weapon drop locations are.
You can look at in your stats your high score for like the farthest wave you've made it in each map. Correct. But I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, again, kudos to them though for
constantly updating. And
they've stayed with it for 2 years,
and it doesn't sound like they have intention to slow down.
And we'll say through thick and thin because there's been some bumps in the road, but. I would love to see them just do a better job of actually marketing the game for what it is. I mean, making it military first-person shooter with the most realistic gun combat you see in VR today.
And it's something for everyone. And I wish that they need to make it so you can just hop in and play a game. which you can do, but like as the new player, like just
I
find
mean,
a
you
game.
can see how excited it must have been when they put it all together. Be like, dude, and we'll do this, and it'll do this, and
Because
it'll do this, and it'll
there
do
is
this.
something for everyone, even in the finding a match. Like that's the mentality with it. Like search by this, filter by this, by this type of thing, by this type of thing.
Short your area. Like
Which once you're an advanced player, that's awesome to have. Like, yeah, I want this. Like you can get it pinpoint, but the first time as a new player, it's overwhelming, no doubt.
So if you
could just hop in and find
dude,
a random game.
There's a big untouched audience for this game. And it's weird because at this stage in the game, it's like one of those, it should almost be everybody owns it just because.
Yeah, $20 for this game is a steal at this day and age. But
shit, that means on sale it's probably a $14.99.
Right.
Yeah, you for money spent for content gotten.
There's so much in this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna say there was a AAA game that came out last year that got so much attention, and I don't think that's better.
I think this is a better equivalency.
This is better quality than that actually came out to be.
But we're coming to the 1 hour point, which is kind of when we pickle up and start to sit too long in vinegar, and now we're.
No, I'm just excited. This
this was a great one. It was a sleeper for us because I'm glad we waited. Mm-hmm. You know, we're constantly asked, hey, why do you review games, some old games? Why don't you review all games?
Because they got better, that's why.
I'm so glad we don't have it on record, us saying negative things about this game just because of how far it's come.
No, and I'd love to hope a year from now we look back at this and go, oh, man, I can't believe we actually said that about it because look
how much good it is now.
Look how big these maps are now.
Small maps for the issue, they're too fucking big now.
And in fairness, I know that they are maximizing a shit ton of what they can put into this game.
Yeah, there's even one game mode that's just more players. I think it's 16 players. You can only play it on a Quest 2.
Yep.
It's like
it's like they're pushing the limits, and some of that I think is with what they're pulling off with their graphics. So it's in no which way or form, and nor do we go out of our way to like, dude, let's find a game that we can just trash.
Yeah,
let's trash something. No, it's like people spend a lot of damn time working on these and continue to do so. So
I think Caveman Games definitely deserve $20.
Love the name though.
Yeah.
Captain if it said Captain Caveman Games, which I'm sure would get them sued, but that would be then have the audacity to be like Captain Caveman Games. Shit, they could probably buy it now. Good for them. Let's see, get the ratings up though. They should be a 10K rating for a 2-year game.
If you love this game, you haven't dropped a 5-star yet on the official store.
Please do. They need it.
Speaking of which, if you like the podcast, subscribe, rate us 5 stars. Go check out our show notes.
We need it.
Yeah, right. Rate us 5 stars. Go become a podcast supporter. Thank you to Bam It's Fluffy, being a constant podcast supporter. Pretty much since the beginning. He's one of our monthly podcast supporters.
Melissa picked up.
So if you want to go donate to the podcast, either one time or monthly, you can go find the link into the podcast show notes, which is the episode description. You can also find the link for our official podcast communities of our subreddit, our Reddit community, and our Discord community. So go click the links in our bio there. And
we've got something for everybody.
Not links in our bio, links in our episode description. And, let's go from there.
Yep.
Awesome. So check you guys out next week.
Take care.
Ciao, ciao.